So, nonetheless, a really, really important game for both teams, but it looks like beyond the game, they're really determined. They're really motivated to get back to former glory because they, too, similar to other teams in the league, they have had such a wonderful year of 2017, you know, representing China at multiple tournaments, international tournaments. The only thing they weren't able to qualify was Eastern Clash. But, yeah, overall, if they manage to walk away with the 2-0 here, they could definitely secure themselves a really nice playoff position and maybe even go to mid-season brawl. Who knows?
One way to find out, and that is for them to continue to raise those points and get themselves closer and closer. Once again, we still have, after today, we still have 4 days to go. 1 more week and 1 day of off-stream games, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is tomorrow, I believe.
Is it?
Or is it going to be next week? Well,
I will find out.
Doesn't really matter because you guys won't be able to watch it anyways. They basically do this. They do off-stream days, so they would basically fit everything into a neat, compact time schedule, and they wouldn't have to do another week of league playing.
Exactly.
Let's face it, if they had another week of normal games, they would have less practice time for the mid-season brawl, the teams that ended up qualifying.
Yeah, the game is tomorrow. The majority of them aren't ones I would point out and say, oh, that's a shame we missed it, except for the very last one, which is Soa vs BTG. That would be pretty intense.
Yeah, that could be a greedy.
Yeah, but other than that, CE versus Sunny Lion, first versus last seed, the one RPG, SPT KT. Those are the games that are off stream, and then of course we have our final week of play, which starts on the 16th.
Exactly. And then in the last week, I believe, of April, we're also going to have the playoffs then. It is going to be a best-of-5 format, for those of you who are curious. Nope, the playoffs are not best-of-2. They are going to be longer series, longer games, with more action overall. And we're going to have a ladder format there as well, which means we're going to start all the way at the bottom, rank 8 against rank 7. The winner of that faces rank 6, then rank 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc., etc. And basically, that means if you were able to place first in the regular season, which currently looks like it's going to be CE, you're guaranteed a ticket to mid-season brawl. The question just is it going to be as China's first or second seed?
One way to find out. One way to find out indeed. As BTG with the next pickup, we've managed to cover the entire time of the draft as they took a little bit of time. Very patient with the drafting phase so far, with Hanzo being picked up first. This will likely be Malfurion +1. Sonya is still pretty insane on this map, so I would not be surprised to see her.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see yet another Sonya. That seems to be a very safe pick to go for. So, let's see what Beyond the Game has to offer. Now, RPG, can they come back? It's so sad at some point to really see RPG not able to win a Series 2-0, because, once again, they're one of those teams where you take a look at the individual class, and you have players like Chicken, like Timeless, and then you know they do have the mechanics, they do have the experience, but can they make it work as a team? And up to this point, we have to say, unfortunately, no. Well,
Zeratul, not a Sonya. That is different for starters. It does deny it from RPG, as we have seen RPG very, very effective in terms of using that Zeratul in the past.
Yeah. Zeratul. There's one team, or maybe two teams, who know how to deal with the Zeratul. It should be KT and RPG, because they have relied on that hero quite extensively. Now, the question is, what kind of combo does Beyond the Game run with the Zeratul? We have seen Diablo, you know, Apocalypse VP, probably the classic. Then we also know how powerful a Dragon's Arrow can be, but that, of course, has been denied by RPG. Maybe even a Ring of Frost, that would be my personal dream. Like back in the days when Dignitas used it successfully at an international tournament. I can't remember which one it was. Was it a Western Clash or...
Not entirely sure. There's been a lot of tournaments.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. As we do also, I just got a pang of nostalgia there and then immediate sadness because I saw that ETC skin and I was like, oh, that's for Wang. Oh.
Oh. The chicken Wang never forget.
Player for RPG,
yeah.
But he did leave.
I wonder what Wang is up to. We should probably ask our Chinese colleagues. Maybe they know.
We should.
Yeah, for those of you who are new to HGC China, Wang used to be the former tank player for RPG for several seasons, actually, and he was quite the special fella. He looked fantastic in certain games and then looked totally off the chain in others, and not in a good way.
As we wait to see what the next ban for RPG is. Tank ban would be reasonable. No, banning out the Junkrat. They don't want to eat too much harassment, and they certainly don't want that total mayhem to be dropped inside a Warden's Cage.
Yep, the Warden's Cage is such a dangerous heroic ability, and if you watch the previous series where Maiev proved to be the deciding factor twice in a row, then you know it can very much be the playmaking character again here. Now ETC going in. I could actually see this. Wait, the map was Sky Temple or Tomb? I think it was Tomb. Okay, so I don't think we're going to see stage dive in. ETC probably not getting much value from this one. The map is rather small. There's many good angles to drop a mosh pit. Yeah.
But you could pull a... crap, was it Zarmony or Shinobu? From way back in the day, back when
I was going to say Shinobu. Man, that rings a bell, but a very distant one.
Way back in the day, where it was at DreamHack Bucharest, first offline event I did for Heroes. And they basically had a unfortunate scenario where it was Zarmony, yes, where SK at the time went in for the core of their opponents. I have no idea who they were playing. I assume Liquid. Went in for the core of Liquid, or whoever it was. Almost won. Were forced to retreat. Everyone died except for Zarmony. Zarmony attempted to stage dive to the core of the enemy because it was on 2% and could have probably ended it with shields. And accidentally clicked the minimap, and instead of hitting the core, sorry, it didn't hit the minimap. Instead, hit directly where he was. So instead of stage diving to the core, he went straight up and came straight back down.
Could he have finished the core if he had landed it perfectly?
He could have absolutely killed the core. Well, just with Hammer On, he would have killed it, because Hammer On back then was crazy. And Ragnaros comes in, anti-push. I like it. Very melee heavy comp for RPG.
Sweet! Oh my goodness, Ragnaros, he's back on Tomb. That seems to be his home turf still. RPG pulling out a fancy, flashy card here. Now, who's going to play it remains to be seen. I pretty much assume Timeless is going to be in Maiev, and Chicken may be the Ragnaros player. But yeah, Ragnaros, he offers quite a lot on Tomb, right? Because of the small size of the map, he can use Molten Core to great effect. He's a relatively stable and reliable soul laner still. Good wave clear, decent, self-sustain. All right.
So what else are we going to see from BTG? They need pretty much anything. I'd say some more sustained damage out of personal preference, but I wouldn't hate them for going pretty much anything else here.
Yeah. They
have a potential solo laner in the form of Varian. Even Zeratul can hold a solo lane. It'll be a bit more difficult. If it wasn't banned out, Medivh would work pretty well here. Another interrupt for ETC is what I want to see. Something with a longer range stun, so perhaps a Tychus, or if we're talking about solo laners, then who would have that? I don't know who would have that. Who has a long range stun as a solo laner?
We shall talk about that. Artanis, he can swap. It's not a stun, but it's an interrupt.
Yeah, that's true. That could have been the choice here, but they decide against it. Instead, the Grey Mane is more sustained damage for the Gul'dan here, so they have burst damage and sustained damage now.
Now, I love the draft by Beyond the Game for many reasons. I'm going to tell you my main issue or my main reason why I like the draft so much, right? So this draft looks like something that RPG themselves was trying to do a few days ago, right? Varian solo tank with a Gul'dan solo ranged assassin. And guess what happened? They would taunt someone, but they wouldn't have enough follow-up damage. Now, the way that Beyond the Game plays this one, they go for the Varian, they go for a ranged assassin Gul'dan, but guess who else they have deployed? Zeratul and Greymane. And if those two don't provide enough follow-up damage, then I don't know who is. So already Beyond the Game, they look like a very well-rounded package, right? They're trying to have a little bit of wave clear with the Greymane and the Gul'dan, but they also have good lockdown with Varian and strong follow-up there. So I think if I compare that to what RPG brought to the table, although by no means is RPG's draft a bad one, I think Beyond the Game just nailed it. I think they did so well in figuring out what they need, especially on Tomb of Spider-Queen.
Let's find out if it is worth it. Who is going to win game number 2? Is it on the left-hand side of a much more wombo combo-based draft RPG with Chicken on Ragnaros, MJ on Uther, Sar on the Hanzo, C on ETC, and Timeless playing on the Maiev.
Their opponents currently leading that series 1-0. Beyond the game, BTG with 619 on Varian. We have LLK on the Zeratul. Druid is playing the Druid Malfurion, sorry. We have Dancing on that Greymane, and LLK is playing the Zeratul. And Lai, of course, on the Gul'dan. So once again, Tetra, do you agree with my assessment? Do you think that Beyond the Game's draft is as good as I claim it to be?
It's definitely going to be better at the more split team fights that are likely to happen on this map, and is very good at killing individual members with, of course, the great blow-up. Longer a fight goes on, it's going to definitely go in BTG's favor. But RPG, it just takes one. They have that the one wombo combo style. Right here, comboing their ability
Wait a minute.
They weren't set up correctly this time. As C goes down, they don't have their heroics yet. They don't have that kind of burst. That was very greedy to attempt such a move early, as it's a massacre for BTG. And this is exactly what's going to happen throughout the game. If RPG don't get their abilities that they can use to just blow people up, or they don't blow people up with said abilities, then BTG will win the fight.
Exactly, and that couldn't have backfired any worse. It looked good, Tetra, right? We were both getting excited. A beautiful tether by Timeless hitting 2 or 3 members, I can't remember. And then, of course, a nice flank with a power slide. But the problem was that it was so close to the enemy's towers, they actually took a little bit of damage from those buildings as well. Now 619 on the Varian, he's keeping his cool. They're easily parrying those tower shots himself. And although Varian is so, squishy, at level 1, they weren't strong enough to take him down. And then the retaliation move with that big corruption, with that big Zeratul cleave. And Beyond the Game got themselves a couple of nice kills. But here we go. Gul'dan getting blown to pieces, though now with a little bit of a consolation kill. RPG picking up momentum.
That's the kind of thing RPG want to be doing, usually quicker than that. That was actually quite a slow gank for RPG, but aggressive. Wow, LAK with yet another dodge. He's out of there. Very nicely done. Get juked, RPG. But this is exactly what they want to do. They want to go for individual members, lock them down, and then in big team fights with heroics, they want to go in, big old umbral binds, warden's cages, mosh pits, etc., and just go for huge blow-ups. But until then, they can't afford to get themselves in a situation where they're fighting on even terms. This is going to be scrappy, and it's going to be rough by RPG until level 10.
Exactly. Nice dismount here by Sa. Smelling, seeing, sensing exactly where 619 was going there on the Varian. Now, Dancing, of course, is doing what Greymane does best. He gets a little bit of healing support by Malfurion. Greymane and Malfurion, the 2 aligned pros, got to stick together, and then they clear the night camp super fast, much faster than their opponents. So let's see if they can maybe use that momentum, see if they can use that assault to maybe get a couple of towers down in the middle.
Let's find out indeed, as they continue to put pressure on. Nice cocktail, but not able to hit any of the heroes, only takes a tiny bit of the shield off the fountain. And with the return through the camp here coming in for RPG, this is going to give them a pretty reasonable defense.
Yeah.
One tower shall fall at minimum. Thanks to Dancing, focusing it down. No, he actually is forced back by the pressure of Timeless.
Yeah, even Lai could use his long range on the Fell Flame. Maybe get the bottom tower, but as such, they don't do that. Varian is getting drawn all the way back. The parries are good. The self-heal is strong, and the Malfurion heals are even stronger. Together, they keep the main tank alive for this one. And this is already starting to become a little bit of an issue here. If they can't kill Varian pre-level 10, it's only going to get harder from there on if he ends up going for the shield wall, which is something we've seen multiple times now. Strong lockdown. The roots underneath the CC chain is perfect, and MJ refuses to die, though.
MJ actually doing the panic maneuver there. He healed himself instead of the Hanzo there. Even though his own abilities heal himself and the poison was only just going to kill him, he still panicked and self-healed anyway.
Yeah, that happens, I guess. But you're right. You're right. Sometimes it is wiser to heal your allies even if you seek self-sustain. So for now, our Beyond the Game still maintain a tiny weeny experience lead, but RPG has been doing such a good job at finding the rhythm after a disastrous early gank attempt. Now I want to actually take a look at the bottom lane, how well Ragnaros is able to hold up against LK on the Zeratul. Of course, the observers are focusing on the 4-member chases, as usually there is more action going down in those.
So we see Zeratul has been abandoned in that bottom lane, at least temporarily. Both teams have enough for a turn in, by the way, just neither of them actually going for a full commitment. Finally, we see 619 getting in 20+ gems.
Nice.
And there's the full turn in for BTG. The Cast of Curse continues as by Ragnaros.
Okay, so good news. The gems were saved. Bad news. Chicken may arrive a little too late to actually defend the middle lane with his Molten Core. If there was one target beyond the game wanted to take down, it was Ragnaros for exactly that reason. So now the team's strongest wave clear, the team's strongest damage tool is not available. And right now, only now, is Ragnaros going to march toward that middle lane. Let's see if he's actually going to have to use Molten Core anyways.
You can see towers are currently eating the initial shots, and he
go.
is going straight into Molten Core because he can probably get top. You can reach top lane as well with this. This is why Molten Core is so useful against Webweaver Tower, but it's going to be cleared so quickly. The corruption just eats the health. The Webweaver wave is now going to go straight onto Ragnaros Molten Core, killing it off, as opposed to Ragnaros being able to siege from afar.
Yeah, this was such a smart corruption. We can't stress that enough. First of all, the Molten Core Ragnaros still counts as an heroic target, so you have the biggest of bodies, even triple the size of a Cho'Gall, so it is so hard for Gul'dan to not land the corruption in the first place. But you also reduce the duration of the Molten Core quite tremendously here with that strong ticking poison damage. So well done by Lai, nice move, keep it up, proud of you. And let's see if RPG can actually turn in themselves. They go for Gul'dan, a nice one, interrupt the healing process, but was it enough damage? No.
Timeless goes back in for round 2, and he will die as such.
Not worth it. Not worth it.
Drops a huge amount of gems. Down goes Rag as well. Even more gems drop, but not as many. And Dancing going for another turn, and they have exactly enough.
Yeah, and that was not worth it, Tetcher. That was simply wasn't worth it. They hesitated too long. MyF was actually making the crucial mistake there, in my opinion. Instead of continuing to attack, she walked away only to get the tether. But during all of this, she could have probably dealt more damage if she just had kept on attacking. And then Gul'dan didn't fall immediately. We see here Might of the Nerazim being locked in for Zeratul, so no VP. Interesting.
My might of the Nerazim for him here. He's going to allow him to get a big old burst amount of damage done if he double resets his cleave. This is the main idea behind it, most likely. Or even giving him that extra blink for escape. It's a much more flexible ability as opposed to setting up for the Wombo, which they don't have much follow-up on. I don't hate this. If they went for Twilight Dream, then maybe, but Tranquility is going to be the talent here.
Variant going mega deep there into the backline, but doesn't get punished because A, his teammates are right behind him, and B, the enemy team wasn't assembled. They were focusing on defending other lanes. Maya, for example, in the top lane. Even bottom lane was defended until a few moments ago. So yeah, Variant can do whatever he wants to, and he is taking down Ragnaros with the help of Gul'dan, who dropped a Golden Fear. Fantastically done. And once again, Tetcher, no Molten Core available, no defense, no wave clear from the Ragnaros. This is a disaster for RPG.
Ragnaros commits to the Wombo combo capabilities here. Here comes ETC, a lovely Nature's Cleanse there coming in as they move forward, preventing any extra CC that came down, giving them the opportunity to move out of range if a mosh pit was going to be set up. But Ragnaros committing with that molten, with that hammer there, that Sulphurous Smash, as opposed to going with potentially a Lava Wave for some D-push.
Okay, Timeless going in for a desperation move. Gets a huge knockback though.
Sulphurous Smash, massive damage here as they turn it round, try to pull Druid back in, but Druid moving away here. The damage output from Zeratul though is shredding Timeless as Timeless drops to Lai, turning it round. See with a good stun, the shield wall from 619. The Molten Core did so much damage, but the sustain is too good. MJ down, LLK teleports away. Lai in danger, they move back in, shield walls, the cleave is good, and gems litter the floor. Here comes the Sonic Arrow, Kansar, get the final hit, scatter arrow!
Oh no!
And the Meteor and one more Stormbow isn't enough, and 619 gets out.
The power of the shield wall, a 5-second cooldown. I'm pretty sure he was slamming that W button. So well done by 619, managing to stay alive. I wouldn't have expected it any other way. They go back. They are furious. They're trying to taunt the chicken here on the Ragnaros. Are they going to get yet another kill? The sail feel is real from the queue, but Dancing takes a bite. And look at all those gems go. Boop.
Nicely done. Using the reset on the go for the throat just in time with the disengage to get in range for the first place. Looking for C1. Man, horrify. In comes Timeless for the delay. Dancing getting him just on the lip of the tether so he doesn't get pulled back. Now Timeless is all alone with no one to help him, and down he goes too.
Oh boy, beyond the game. I can almost smell the sweat drops on their foreheads because RPG was relentless. They just wouldn't let go, right? They were keeping up the chase, but with so much patience and with so much combined efforts, Beyond the Game was able to stay in there and keep everyone safe and sound, especially 619 with spectacular variant play. Well done.
And Lai, the squishiest member arguably on the team, being able to stay alive through all of these fights, doing a fantastic job so far in terms of damage output. And here we see BTG trying to just grab mercenaries. They're going to farm up enough for their third turn-in and look to see what they can do. ETC finds Greymane, tries to steal the cam. This is just going to be a full team fight. Dragon Arrow does not land. Here comes Druid Avengers. Time just pulling him in. Warden's Cage is very good as Druid is also trapped in here. Timeless dropping the damage. Here comes C, but no Mosh Pit available because he's already used it here as LLK is killed off by the Meteor. This time, RPG doing a little bit better, but they are now running out of health bars. It's a 2 versus 3, but they have no health to survive with. And MJ and C forced to retreat.
And I never thought I would say this, but Variant and Gul'dan make for a good couple. They didn't really do exactly that in the Broken Shore cinematics, but here they're looking strong together, distracting and deflecting the assault of RPG. The minion camp, the mercenary camp is rightfully theirs. I mean, if you're not familiar with this, guys, welcome to HGC China, where teams go absolutely balls bananas crazy over every objective there is, even if it's just a siege time camp. And you know what? If you're Beyond the Game, you would love to take those trades, right? 16 to 13. I mean, couldn't get any better for you.
BTG, though, still managing to hold on to 40 gems, whereas RPG now have a grand total of 8, which is slightly less, as those who are more mathematically inclined are able to find out.
17th of August.
Ah, nice. That is cool to know.
Wait, you didn't know that, Tetcher? Come on.
No, I don't know.
I'm so disappointed.
As we see, yeah, I'd know it if I was fighting. As we see C moving around here, that's a turn around and a cute accusation. As we see C with the face melt, trying to put some pressure on the enemy team, but is now in trouble. Molten Core turns this round though. Warden's Cage, Dragon Arrow, Sulfurous Smash. They're getting everything, but the healing from Tranquility is too much. They can't kill anything. In comes Zeratul with a counter damage onto MJ. LLK picks up the kill. Moving forward, and 619 looking for C one more time. Can they get it? The cleave picks up Hanzo in the backline. And wow, LLK kill after kill here in this game.
Beyond the Game was like, Molten Core is so 2010. We don't really care about that. We don't respect the power of Ragnaros anymore. We just go in. We rely on our good buddy Mel. He's keeping us safe and sound, and that's exactly what he did, Tetcher. We were bashing a little bit onto Tranquility, right? Saying that China focuses a little bit too much on that ability, but here, all that sustain was wonderful. It was so well done. And big shout out here to the entirety of Beyond the Game. They make these team fights look so easy. When there is a Molten Core available, you normally run away. You normally try to cut the losses and minimize the damage you take, right? But Beyond the Game, they're just powering through. And although there is so much potential damage available for RPG with Maiev, with Hanzo, with the Ragnaros, they just can't seem to make it work.
So much damage is being dropped. A full wombo combo on 2 members there, and they can't even kill Zeratul with it. And then Zeratul, like I said, full clean up there as they move forward, looking for the keep. Variant taking a shot or 2 until the minions arrive. Uther is like, please leave. I can't do much about this. Finally, the rest of the team shows up. No Molten Core available. That's Maiev. Looks for opportunity. Variant just tanks it here. Uses the ETC as an escape route. And now with Web Weavers here, no keep down and no keep up in this mid lane. BTG are just going to let the mid lane go, let the Web Weaver force a distraction, and look for top lane.
It's very smart, because even if they were to kill a member or 2 of RPG, the death numbers are very low still, and Web Weavers are not quite tanky when it comes to dealing with cores, right? So they're trying to extend their advantage even more. 16 is so close for RPG, they need it for this next team fight that is about to ensue, and here it is. Here is the 16 Armored Assault ready for Maiev. That could be a big game changer with all the armor provided by Uther, and they actually managed to keep that top lane safe and sound.
The keep is weakened, but alive, and this is the important factor. But Catapult's going to start to build up in this mid lane. This is a Bruiser camp lane as well, so if we get more extended fights in top lane, for example, especially with that about to be pressured, round 2, BTG is back. And with Maya and Ragnaros so far away, this will be secured and guaranteed.
All right, another keep has fallen. RPG, with their backs against the wall, Timeless is desperate to find an angle to get a grip onto the game. But beyond the game, it's just too calm, too collected, and too cool to get caught by any of those shenanigan moves. Now, how many gems do they have? Only 20, 54, 56 for RPG. They could maybe try to go for a turn in themselves if beyond the game lets them. Looks like they don't.
Interrupt. Yeah, Varian with the Lion's Maw. That upgraded Lion's Fang with a lovely interrupt there. Varian attempting to melee attack the Timeless while he was in the sky there, which also does nothing. And look at this. Zeratul pushing bot lane. Greymane getting Siege Giant camps. Dragon Arrow not landing. And BTG are in full control. Chicken finally gets his gems in, though. That is almost halfway towards the turn. Power slide by HGC. Can they make the kind of play? No, they can't.
This is a 3 versus 5 stall. This is a 3 versus 5 stall. Greymane was in the bottom, taking the mercenary camp. Zeratul was in the back, busy backdooring the bottom keep, and this could be the angle they need for beyond the game to finish the game.
The double blink from Zeratul to move in with that bite of the Zerazim. The mosh pit turnaround is the holy cow! Moving in. Can they make something happen? The Sulfura Smash is huge, but here comes the Molten Core. LLK completely ignoring the rules, moving forward, shredding the members of RPG. And well, Chicken is in trouble. He is in full retreat. C is chased down by LLK. LLK is just killing everyone here. None shall escape. He's running out of mana. That's the only thing saving RPG right now.
Yeah, that's the only thing that can stop LLK from rending his opponent's his own mana bar. So much damage with that empowered cleave from Might of the Nerazim. So much damage, and there goes the core with catapults united from all 3 lanes. Beyond the game, humiliate RPG in what was one of the most